listening. Here they are to start the pod.
Why, I never.
Stacy and Hutch.
Yeah!
Yay!
It is
Here
time
we
for the
are.
podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest on with us. Stacy found him. I don't know if you found him.
Well, his publicist found us, and I said, hey, I like that guy.
Alonzo!
Oh,
Hello, I'll take that. That's a good
we
intro.
had an awkward moment once, you and I,
Uh-oh.
when you were doing Last Comic Standing. You were doing that with, who was it? Madigan. Kathleen Madigan.
Yeah.
And you were at Acme Comedy Company, and I was in the audience, and I was like looking at you like, I know, what is his name again? And I was trying to remember your name. And then, so I was looking right at you. I was pretty close. And then you just happened to notice that I was looking in your direction. And then you're like, how you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm staring at you. I'm so sorry. It is so awkward. And I was like, oh God.
I'm sure you get that a lot though, right?
I actually remember that exact moment. I've been holding on to that for the last, no, I'm kidding.
He said, 'cause I worry about awkward moments that people might remember because it was so awkward I made for them. But
what was really weird in doing that show, it was back then, it was a reality show. So people saw us. So people would start a conversation and I'd be like, do I know you? Oh, wait, you just saw me on TV. Like they would talk to you like they knew you. And you're like, I don't know who you are. So yeah, there were many awkward moments.
I mean, for what you do, stand-up is such a, I mean, it's interactive, but it's not. So people are literally just looking at you, staring at you while you're trying to be funny. There has to be those moments where you're like, I better deliver or it's going to get super awkward.
It's a one-way conversation. That's the way I've always looked at it. I'm holding a conversation with the crowd. They're not necessarily answering back. One would hope they laugh when they're supposed to. Sometimes they laugh when they're not supposed to, and then I got a new joke. So yeah, it's what we do.
you are a regular panelist on Wait, Don't Tell Me. You're really a smart dude.
Well, thank you. What I learned early on Wait, it's better to be funny than to be right. They will walk me through to the answer as long as I get some laughs along the way. But it's a fun show. I've been doing it now for over 10 years. And now we do live comedy shows with the panelists from Wait, and I also host those. So yeah, it's a good run.
It's funny. I kind of stole that idea from you because we do a thing here that we've been doing for a long time called Smarter Than Stacy. And if I don't know the answer, I try to come up with a funny answer instead. So it helps me feel a little better about not knowing it.
Absolutely. It's the best way to dodge it. Best way to dodge. Also, if you win Wait, Don't Tell Me, you know what the prize is, right? Absolutely nothing. So there's really no profit in being right.
Yeah, I don't get anything either. So that's awesome.
When it comes to these different ventures that you're doing, how do you go about picking the right projects that are for you or, wanting to do something, but maybe realizing that you're not the perfect fit? Or do you just go, I'll take it. I've got a family to feed. I have friends. I have so many people in my life. Are you pretty picky or how do you navigate the situation of picking the right projects?
Well, you don't have to worry. Hollywood will be happy to tell you that this is not the project for you. Yeah, we're going another way. We've decided. So you don't have to worry too much about that. No, my career has always been sort of the next indicated thing, like what comes up next, and I want to try it, which has led to some things that I never thought I would do. Like, for instance, Wait, Don't Tell Me, and this, people don't believe this, but this is absolutely true. I had never heard of the show until I did it. I'd never heard of it, never listened to it. And it's a huge show, but it was just not on my radar. And they called me in and my agent said, it's kind of a panel news show on the radio, just news stories. You got to be funny. I was like, oh yeah, I can do that. And then a couple of months after I did it, I was like, wait a minute. This is like one of the biggest shows on NPR. There's millions of listeners. So I think sometimes it's better to not know, because then you'll be nervous. You'll put too much on it. As far as, I've been lucky. I've made a good living. You talk about a family to feed. No family, but I do have a Great Dane, which is actually probably more expensive than a family to feed. And he's laying behind me sleeping, saying,
I can see his feet.
You just keep working. I'll keep sleeping.
Well, I don't know if if Colette told you, but we are a Marconi award-winning show. Well, Hutchison.
I'm not. She had another partner and they got a Marconi and,
and we're wildly popular.
I
so
got, nothing.
Don't get nervous. Well, our podcast is nothing. What's your dog's name?
Hulk.
Oh, he just woke up. Hey, Hulk.
Yeah, Hulk is. Oh no, he didn't wake up.
I
have to watch out for him. Let me see. I think I can show
I
him.
saw his paw move.
It's going to be a weird camera move here.
That's
there
okay.
Oh my God! Look at he is huge. They are so sweet though. Does he think he's a lap dog?
Yep. 165 pounds. 165 pounds of dog that'll lay on you and go to sleep.
He weighs more than I do.
He weighs more than a lot of people. He's great though. He's a pandemic puppy, and
he is.
Friend. That's awesome.
What did you do during the pandemic? What was your thing that you said, okay, my whole life and career is kind of changing a little bit. Can't go out and do stand up. What did you do during that time?
Well, the first thing you do is panic and say, I'm never going to work again. I'm going to lose my home and everything dear to me. Then it started out, we did live streams, which were really funny. We were doing them from the Laugh Factory, and they had a camera and a computer operator, in the back, and it was just a comic, just be me on stage, the club completely empty. It was the weirdest thing to do, and they were projecting them out. And over time, we figured out how to do Zoom shows where somebody would be monitoring the Zoom so there wouldn't be Zoom bombers and stuff, and you could turn it on and hear the laughter. The biggest problem with doing the shows and not hearing the laughter is you talk so fast because we're used to, like I say, going back and forth. So you would do 20 minutes of material in 6 minutes and be like, oh, wait a minute, I should slow down. So it took a little while. And then we did a lot of outdoor shows, rooftops, parking lots, drive-in movie theaters, anywhere you could do it safely and or legally, we did it. There was one show here in LA when we had a regulation, you couldn't have more than 35 people at a gathering. And we were behind a weed store and we had about 75, 80 people. And I was like, the weed is legal, the comedy isn't. That was one of the great pandemic moments for me, doing illegal comedy while they smoke legal weed. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was such a weird time, and, kind of crafting what you do and how you do it. How often do you change your setup or your jokes, and how much is ad-libbed in the moment with the audience?
Well, because I like doing topical comedy, it is continually changing. There's always something new coming in, some old thing going out. And I love doing crowd work. I love interacting with the audience. So that's part of every show. At some point, I will do that, whether it be somebody catches my attention or a reaction to something I said, or sometimes I'm just like, from a creative standpoint, sometimes it's just fun. I'm like, let me go into the crowd and see what I can make funny, So, but when it comes to our news cycle, listen, we're living in a time where the toughest thing about being a comedian is I have to be funnier than the news. And let's be honest, that's practically impossible.
Yeah, especially in today's age, we have
collectively lost our minds. There's so that part can be really funny as to, and it's also funny to me what sets people off. People get upset over things that, like, I'm like, how does that have anything to do with you? For example, the big pronoun issue. Everyone's mad about. I was like, why I love pronouns? Because there are some people I genuinely don't know what you are. Please tell me. Tell me what you are before I make a horrible mistake and we're all embarrassed. Let me know. I'm okay with that.
Oh my God. Daily, we get texts all the time doing our show. And this world is so into trying to cancel you before they're trying to educate you.
Yeah.
And that's
if
a huge
there is any way that you two can get me canceled, I would appreciate it. Every time Dave Chappelle gets canceled, it's another $10 million Netflix special. If there is anything you can do, please cancel. I hate you both. How's that? One's a man, one's a woman. I hate you both. Now cancel me, please.
You can't hate us more than we hate ourselves.
How do you feel about the Little Mermaid?
Oh man, I'm just super upset. The Little Mermaid. Black mermaids. What kind of world? You know, people got mad over black mermaids. Mermaids aren't real. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we at least, if we're going to shoot racism, can we at least do racism in reality and let the fantasy world be what?
I was so confused by that. I'm like, what's the problem? I don't
Oh my
understand.
God. It's the craziest thing in the world. So you don't have that fear of getting, I mean, for someone like you or us or whatever, you know, I think Dave Chappelle is a different beast because for you, we all rely on, we don't have I mean, unless you're hiding something from us, I don't think you have Dave Chappelle money, you know? I mean,
No, but you know, here's the thing about being canceled in the comedy world. The people who are so-called canceling or whatever, they're not comedy fans. They listen to one line or one clip. The people who are fans, the people who are in the club, the people who see and hear the show in context, they get it. And there's going to be some jokes you don't like. Listen, when I started, this guy told me that if you're not angering 20% of the audience, you're not trying. You know, there's always going to be some people who don't agree with you, who don't get it, but you can't try to figure that out unless you're paying me big money for a corporate gig and you say, hey, don't say this. And I'm like, oh, okay, I won't say this. What's that? Kellogg's? Yeah, I love cereal. Now that you mention it. But otherwise, when you're in the comedy world, comedy fans, they get it. And for some people, you know, you might not be their comic and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to laugh at the next person, or, you know, maybe I shouldn't have bought tickets to this show. Listen, if you're a big mermaid racist fan, then I'm probably not your guy. Okay.
do you find you have to adjust your comedy to the region that you're in, whether it's good or bad? Like when you come into the Twin Cities, you know, do you have to adjust kind of some jokes compared to
No,
LA?
you really, you know, you can't, because you don't know who that audience is. Trying to guess, like I would be as guilty as somebody, you know, with a prejudice if I looked at an audience and said, "Oh, these people look like this, so I should do this." If there's one thing I've learned in 30 years, you never know who's in the audience. You never know what they're going to laugh at. A lot of times, the person that you would least expect to like a certain thing does like it, or someone you wouldn't expect to not like it doesn't like it. You know what I mean? So the adjustment, and we were just talking about this recently. You know what I miss? I miss local newspapers, because there was a time you'd go into town and the first thing you do is read the paper and find some local story that you could joke about, and the audience would love that because they're like, oh, he knows about, you know, so and so. I mean, I was just in Cleveland and police horses got loose and were running down the highway. And I was like, even the horses don't like the police in Cleveland. Nobody. And the audience loved it because that's a local story. And they were like, how did you know that happened? But yeah, but otherwise, you know, the sensibility of people now, people will, sometime they'll research you on the internet to see what you think or what, you know, what your act's about. And they'll come or not come based on that. But it is hard. I mean, you feel an audience when you're doing it, but it's hard to say, hey, this is going to be funny in the Twin Cities, but that's going to be funny in Raleigh, North Carolina, and this is going to be funny in Dallas, you know. So yeah, it's tough. It
Are
would be
some
tough to figure it out and try to rewrite it for every region.
are some audiences smarter than others?
Yes, definitely. Uh,
Kind of wondered about that.
I don't, maybe smarter is not the right word, maybe more well informed. For example, if I work in DC, any government joke they get, because they are the government. They're on top of it. They know it right there. So nuance or lesser known characters or whatever, they know. New York is great because you cannot offend a New York crowd. If it's funny, they're with it. If it's not, they're not, and you can't, you know, upset them. They are on it. So in that sense, yeah, some crowds are more. And I'll tell you another. You know where you get really smart crowds? Canada. Canadians know more
Really?
about the United States than Americans. I don't know if you're aware of this, but the United States of America is the #1 reality show in Canada. They watch us every day. They haven't stopped laughing for years.
We are pretty funny.
What do you enjoy more doing in your career? Is it the TV series is where you can kind of play something different? Is it, being a part of Scary Movie would be just an amazing time, or, stand up, which you really love?
Stand up is always my first passion, but getting to do things like that. Listen, I've had a long storied movie career of playing a bouncer or security guard to some of the most famous people. But it was fun to do a scene with Leslie Nielsen, to do a scene with Steve Martin, to work with people like that. It is fun because they're funny and you're enjoying the moment. It's so those things are great. When people ask about a TV series, like, would you want a TV series? Well, yeah, I would like to make 5 or 6 figures a week. But in the meantime, I love this. I love what I do. I get to do a lot of different things. I'm a gearhead, and I've gotten to work with a bunch of car and motorcycle people and do car and motorcycle shows. So that's kind of like working and playing at the same time. I love jazz music, and I work on jazz cruises with some of the greatest jazz musicians in the world. So for me, that's super fun. I'm the fan with the best seat in the house. So it's been a well-rounded career and a good run. I could use a couple of $1 million. So if you know somebody who wants to just have me
Hey,
star in a
Powerball's up
movie.
there. I think Powerball's pretty good right
Yeah,
now.
maybe
So,
go get a ticket.
yeah.
Here's the thing about the movies. When you audition for movies, you find out these people can act. They know what they're doing. I always tell my agent, you got to find out how the bad actors get jobs. I want to be one of those people where they're looking and they're like, how did he get this job? I want to be that guy.
No kidding.
When it comes to obviously booking these dates of where you're going to go and how you're going to do it, do you do that yourself or do you have a team behind you?
No, I have an agent and manager. They as long as they're getting a percentage, they might as well work. So they handle the bookings and I just go out and do it.
Good move.
I wish I had someone able to do our schedule for us for sure. But then we don't have to cut, the percentage. I don't have to look at a check and go, wait, that went to them.
I kind of make him tell me where to go. I'm like, what are we doing tomorrow?
It does seem easier. Do you find yourself kind of going, okay, I'm in this? I mean, you're super down to earth. Your comedy is super relatable to almost everyone. Do you find yourself living in LA and going, oh man, I wish I lived more of that lifestyle, or I'm super happy with who I am and what I am?
Now, I love LA because here's the thing about LA. As long as you remember it's not real, this city is a lot of fun. Now, the minute you start looking for reality, they know it's all a show. Do you understand? It's all a show, and that makes it fun. I'm looking at moving out of LA, but it's not because I don't like LA. It's just an opportunity to live somewhere else. And now I'm dealing with mortgage bankers. And whoa, here's a group I'll be talking about soon because
they're fun.
you don't even want to go. You talk to them and it's like, hey, it's not like we're the ones who broke the economy in 2008. I think that was you. I think you're the problem, not me. But
is it hard when someone says,
no, I love LA. I also have real friends in LA. When I first came here, I worked in aerospace. A lot of people don't even know this or remember this, but LA used to be a manufacturing city. Back in the 80s, there were aerospace companies. General Motors had a plant here. So there were a lot of real people with, ordinary jobs and so on. And I'm fortunate that I have friends in that world, which kind of keeps you grounded in the Hollywood world. But how could you not like Hollywood? It's all beautiful. It's all, what we don't like? We don't like when real weather ruins our fake snow. Every Christmas, we make Christmas and then it rains. We're like, what is it? Who brought the rain? Come on. We had a beautiful fake snow. We were ready to roll it up and now it rained. Yeah. We love it.
And you went through a drought all summer and then you're complaining about the rain. You're just like, it's no one's happy. Is it hard to trust people that you just meet in Hollywood because it's not real, quote unquote?
I don't know that trust is an issue. You just kind of learn who you're talking to. I was joking just last night. I was joking, in LA, when someone says I'm between projects, like, oh, you're unemployed. You kind of learn the code. The code.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're excited. I know making a stop in the Twin Cities. You are doing it all over the place. A big summer tour coming up, a fall tour. Are you excited for just getting back out there and getting into different areas in different parts of the country, I bet?
Well, comics, I don't tour the way musicians do when they're like, okay, I'm on a summer tour. I'm going to load up the tour bus in June and I'll be back in September. With me, it's more like I'll go out this weekend, come home, and then I'm home for a while. Then I'll go out somewhere else, or I may have 2 or 3 weekends in a row. But I'm usually home in between, every trip. So this weekend, it's going to be Chicago and St. Paul. And because I wanted to see how cold could it actually be. You're aware it's spring, right? I mean, you guys are,
Well,
did they tell you?
We had a lovely winter.
A great winter.
It barely snowed, and now we're about to get hammered with a big snowstorm. So this will be real fun for you.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it.
All right. Well, I'm going to try to get in and get out before we get snowed in. Don't do that to me. Don't keep me there. I love
Mr. I'm
nice
complaining
people.
that rain ruined our snow. And then now we get snow. Rain won't ruin it. I'll tell you that much here in Minnesota.
Email us if you're bored. We'll go snowshoeing downtown. It'll be fun.
Oh yeah, that's something we do in LA regularly. Snowshoeing downtown. What are you, crazy lady?
2 tennis rackets.
Man, we're so excited to have you in town, and of course, we thank you for joining us. Don't be a stranger on the show, right, man?
Absolutely not. Thank you, and don't worry, Stacy. No more awkward moments. Okay, we know each other
good.
now.
Well, she's going to be getting tickets front row and just staring that whole time now.
It's me. Hi. You know me, right?
Yeah, she's gonna remember. Appreciate it, man.
All right, have a good time.
Have a great day.
Oh my God, he's so much fun to talk to.
Super nice.
Yes,
he's got the whitest teeth I've ever seen.
Oh my God, he's
I'm so jealous.
He's a good-looking guy. I didn't want to, but there you go.
He's gonna get stuck here.
He's so gonna get
poor
stuck
guy.
here. All right, there you go. That was fun. Hey, we've got a lot to talk about. With our podcast coming up here. We're not going to do snack chat today. You'll do that with Alex next week.
Yes, because we have a lot of snacks and we're going to be hungry.
I'll be gone by the time you guys do that podcast.
Right.
You've already given me a little sample of the snacks. So, All right, there you go. That is Stacey Hunt. Say Too Much. We'll see you guys next time.